bunnies and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I hope the lighting's okay. It's really sunny outside and I didn't have time to set my lighting up, so I'm gonna fingers crossed that it just stays this way for the full video. So as you've probably seen by the title of this video, this is a Q&A. I've not done a Q&A for a while, but I really love doing them. I get so many questions on my Instagram, in my DMs. I try to reply to as many of you as I can, but it really becomes challenging sometimes because the messages do build up and then I feel really bad if I don't get back to you. So hopefully I'll answer your question here, and if I don't, then I will be doing plenty more Q&As on my Instagram and also on here. Normally I like to be quite long-winded about my answers, and it's because I like to be, well, I was going to say I like to be informative, but realistically it's because I just love to chat. So I'm going to try and keep these answers as concise as possible. I've got an appointment I need to be at in about 1 hour's time, so I need to just whiz through these questions, answer them for you, and hopefully you'll enjoy this video. So the first question is, how are you feeling at the minute? Just wanted to say you are body goals. Thank you so much. I don't feel like I'm body goals at the minute. I'm due on my period. I feel a bit meh. Things bother you. You know, your hormones come in and they start playing havoc with your head. I'm the heaviest I've ever been in my life. I don't really care about weight. I'm more interested in how I look, how my clothes fit, how I feel. And to be honest, it's been a little bit of an adjustment. During the pandemic, I didn't train really at all. Then I got my underactive thyroid at the start of last year, and that really piles of pounds on you, and I had my surgery, so I wasn't very active, and now we're here. So while I am quite body confident, I still have insecure days and I still feel like crap a lot of the time because I'm just not used to being this out of shape. And I know to a lot of people this isn't out of shape, it's relative to the person, but sometimes I do just feel like soft, stretch marky, cellulite-y, don't fit into a lot of things because I've got very thin limbs and then quite a big bum and hips, but I do appreciate that. And overall I'm feeling good, I'm feeling okay. Life's busy, you know, got a lot on my plate. There's a lot that I can talk to you about, there's a lot that I can't talk to you about, and yeah, it's good. It's way better than it was last year at this time, so I am taking that as a huge win. So the next question is, do you use the Yuka app food and cosmetic scanner? So I hadn't heard about this app until this question was put in, and so I downloaded it and I've been using it, and it's really amazing for scanning all of your cosmetic products and all of your food items as well, to let you know what preservatives are in, additives, colourings, if they're good, if they're bad. I do think the app is a little bit flawed in some ways because there's elements of it which kind of, if you weren't as maybe knowledgeable in the area of toxins and chemicals, you might think, oh, like you might just completely cut something out because it suggests that it's bad, when actually it might not be as bad as it's being suggested, if that makes sense. But I think it's on the whole quite good to gauge, to get an idea, but I'll have to use it a little bit more to give my honest feedback, because some of the ingredients that they're also saying are okay, a few of the girls in the clean world who I've made friendships with, they would disapprove of those. So it's a really hard balancing act. As you know, I've been trying to swap over from all of my traditional products to more toxic-free clean products. Some are cleaner than others. It's just a process and it's a learning curve, and at the start I was so stressed out about it, and I'm at the point now where I'm like, if I want to wear 90% traditional makeup and wear 10% clean, I'm going to do that, which I don't really do. I'm probably around 50-50, maybe 40-60 actually. 60 clean, 40 traditional, but I hardly wear makeup, so when I do, yeah. But that's a whole nother video. Like, a few of you have asked for makeup products. That is going to have to be a video on its own, but I promise I'll bring it to you soon. So the next question is, how much has surgery changed your life? So thank you for that question. Actually, the endometriosis nurse from the hospital where I had my surgery rung me yesterday, and it was like a 6-month post-op follow-up. It was great that they were checking in. Interesting, because I didn't even know what the word endometriosis was 3 years ago, and now I feel like I'm like so clued up in that area that don't want this to come across as like big-headed or arrogant, but I do truly believe that I, in some instances, probably have more of an awareness and understanding and knowledge of endometriosis than some of the medical professionals. Now I know how that sounds. That sounds really like you didn't go to medical school, you know, what do you know? But even her on the phone, she was like, look, I know the GPs aren't great, there's a whole national survey happening, we're trying to find out as much information as possible, surgically, medically, to understand what helps, what doesn't help, what could create more endometriosis lesions, what could create more pain, how you can have stage 1 endo and excruciating pain and stage 4 and no pain, like how the correlation all works out. And I can't help but think that if men suffered from endometriosis, all of this would have been figured out about 30 years ago. Just saying. Just saying. But anyways, it's good that that's what they're doing, and it was nice for them to check up on me. Nevertheless, how much has my surgeries changed my life? And I realised I digressed there. Hugely, absolutely hugely. The pain, absolutely like magnificent how much it's improved. I was suffering from chronic daily, if not bi-daily pain, back pain, tummy pain, gut health issues, complete fatigue. The symptoms were just like endless. So I just feel like I've got more energy, I feel more hopeful, I feel less anxious, the pain just doesn't exist like it did. So you know, the surgery's changed my life 100 times for the better. And I would, if you're thinking about it, if you're on the list and you're worried about it, if you're getting to the front of the queue, you know, that list that you've been on, the wait list you've been on for probably 12, 18 months, and it's nearly your turn and you're now wondering, should I do it? And I know a lot of you do think that, because a lot of you message me, I would do it, because at the very least you're going to get answers. You're going to get some answers about what is going on inside of your body, and that on its own gives you such a great amount of peace and clarity and just awareness about your body. So the next question is, who is your therapist? So I have a lovely therapist called Melissa, and she was recommended to me by my lovely friend Susan, who was originally my PT years ago, and then we become really good friends. And she was recommended Melissa by her business coach, so she comes very highly recommended. And long story short, I searched for my own a year and a half ago, didn't really get anywhere. Remembered Susan had mentioned this amazing therapist that she had started speaking to, and I remember she described her as being a complete angel. She has FaceTime appointments with her, and she passed on her details, and I contacted Melissa at one of my very lowest times of my life, and we've been working together ever since. So I do get a lot of questions about who she is. I'm not 100% sure what the ethical practice is in regards to recommending and whether she would be happy for me to do so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask her, I have a session with her this afternoon, I'm going to ask her if she'd be happy for me to share details, and if she is, I will leave them in the description box. So somebody said, I really want to start doing clothing reels, but worried my friends and family will laugh. I've only got one thing to say to that, and that is, do it. Literally do it. The only people who will laugh are the people who are wondering and wishing why they didn't have the confidence to do it themselves. People always mock the things that they wish they could do. Let's be honest, if we've ever judged anybody in the past, or we've ever had a certain feeling towards somebody who's doing something successful, 9 times out of 10, it's because it is a mirror towards yourself. You're looking at yourself in that mirror thinking, she's doing that, I wish I could do that. You know you could do that, but you just don't have the courage to do it and the confidence to do it. So I would absolutely go ahead, follow your dreams. There's a space for everybody online. You don't know what's going to happen. Your reels might do so well and you might be able to make a career out of it, but at the very least it's sharing something that you want to share, and it's a creative outlet for you too. And if your friends and family laugh, then to me they're not good friends and family, and at the end of the day, people who hate are just jealous, so get them done, girl. Somebody's asked, how long did you wait for your surgery from referral? What I'm going to do is I'm going to link my endometriosis video down below so that you can get all the answers to any of those questions there, because I really don't want to repeat the answers in this video. Everything that you need to know will be included in that video, and I hope that is helpful. So somebody has asked, how do you and Con support each other during hard times? I've been made redundant 4 times. So this is a really good question, because me and Connor are very different people. I am very emotional and very vocal and very open and expressionate, and Connor is very quiet and reserved and insular and keeps all his feelings to himself. So with me, you don't ever have to guess how I'm feeling. If I'm good, if I'm not good, if I'm in a bad mood, if I'm in a good mood, if I'm feeling like something's not right, or if something's lacking in the relationship, or that I'm struggling with something and I need support, I'm not afraid to ask and I'm not afraid to say. Whereas Con is the absolute opposite. So we've had to work through a lot of things in our relationship, and I think all relationships, and if you want a good relationship, you need to work at it. You have to put effort in. You can't expect to buy a car, a really gorgeous car that you've always wanted, fill it up with fuel once, and expect it to run perfectly for the next 2-3 years. You have to keep topping it up. And that's the way I see relationships too. You can't just make effort once, or, you know, impress each other just as you're getting together and then forget about that. I think you really need to focus on each other and really communicate and have fun and make sure that you're really giving each other everything that you need. But one thing I will say is there has been a lot of hard times during the 3 years nearly that me and Con have been together, and we always show up for each other. At the end of the day, we love each other, and we know the hardships that we've both faced in the past and the hurdles that we still have to overcome. And I think the best thing to do is to have a deep understanding of how you feel and how you both feel, and also just being very obvious and vocal about how your partner can support you. Sometimes men need you to be obvious, all right? So sometimes, you know, we expect them to just know, but sometimes they just don't know. So I would say, you know, like, if you feel like your partner isn't supporting you, or if you feel like he is supporting you but maybe you need support in a different way, just be open and just be honest and have kind, sometimes difficult conversations. Me and Con have had a lot of difficult conversations, but the outcome has always been growth, and the outcome has always been better understanding and better connection. And we will continue to have those conversations as long as we're together, because the same way with personal development, there is definitely development to be done in relationships, and that avoids the whole complacency and it avoids the whole taking each other for granted. I'm just leaning back because the sun is coming in, it's moving. So yeah, we, you know, Con's always been great whenever I've been poorly, when I was in hospital, and when I come out of hospital he would change my catheter for me and stuff like that. And you know, I've supported him through a hell of a lot since I met him. He's done a lot of growing since he met me. So yeah, just communication, that's the biggest thing. Communicate, because we're not mind readers. The next question is, the best websites or books that can help with your non-toxic journey, as I don't know where to start. Okay, so it is a bit of a minefield. I got the book How to Heal Your Endometriosis by Henrietta Norton. I will link it below. And she is the founder of Wild Nutrition, the amazing supplements that I take. That was a great book because that was very specific towards endometriosis, but also I think even if you don't have endometriosis, you could definitely read that book because there's a lot of relevant information for you as a woman with a menstrual cycle, with hormones, and, you know, with all of the things that us women have to deal with. So I think that would be a great starting point. The other book I read, I want to say it was How to Be Happy. It's in my side table. Okay, so totally lied. It wasn't How to Be Happy. It's The Why. Healthy Habits for an Epic Life. Now, she doesn't go into too much about being toxic free and clean, but this is a great book just overall for your mind, body and soul. And she does talk about a little bit about clean living. And then this is Take Control of Your Endometriosis by Henrietta Norton. It's just such an easy guide on how to like relieve your symptoms with simple diet and lifestyle changes, and I literally read this within 2 days, so I would definitely highly recommend this one. In regards to other information, I did like lots of Googling, found lots of Instagram accounts who were really helpful. I mean, Google can be your best friend and it can also be your enemy, so just take it with a pinch of salt. Another guy that I follow on Instagram and I want to read some of his books is Dr. Mark Hyman, I think he's called. He has a book which is, let me just double check. His book is called Young Forever, The Secrets to Living Your Longest, Healthiest Life. And he has a podcast and he talks about toxic free and trying to reduce the chemicals. And I think ultimately you just want to fight the inflammation in your body, because inflammation is literally the cause of so much disease. What I'll do is I'll link the books below and some Instagram accounts which have been really helpful. I also have a few friends now online who are super informative, so that's always helpful as well. But I think getting a grasp of the ingredients in your products that you want to try and avoid, and even if you can avoid half of those compared to what you were doing, you're going to improve your circumstances, you're going to reduce the toxic load in your body. And I think at the beginning I was like, oh, need to eradicate everything, need to just like get rid, just need everything to be super clean. I was literally thinking about like going to the extreme lengths, and that really isn't, it's not helpful. It's not a good way to be, because stress is hugely toxic too. So I think even if you can get products without parabens, without phthalates, without any synthetic fragrance, that on its own would be amazing. Forget about all the other like huge long words that are just so confusing. Even if you did that, that would make a massive change. You know, it's just about looking after your body and just remembering that you're a human, you're gonna make mistakes. It's hard because we've been conditioned all of these years just to consume all of these pesticides and, you know, estrogens and parabens and synthetic fragrances and all of that. Like, it's very normal and mainstream, and it's been pushed on us. So it's going to take a little bit of educating to just kind of take it back a bit, take it way back before all of these chemicals were just pumped in all our food and products, and understand what works and what doesn't, and how we can best help ourselves and our health. But I promise that I'm going to bring lots of information and lots more content about my journey and about what I do. I just really don't want to overload you, and I really don't want anybody to feel really stressed out about it. So I just want to do it in a very positive, manageable way, like I do with my endometriosis content, because we've got to be positive. Life's hard. We don't want to make it any more dreary and hard than it already can be. So the last question I'm going to quickly answer, and I'm really proud of myself because I whizzed through this, is do you do anything else apart from influencing work? So yes, I do. I come out of this, so before I went in the circle, I worked in education for about 7 years. I loved it. I love working with young people. I love helping people. I was an IAG coordinator, which is like a careers advisor, and I worked in business development in another role to get young people out on work placements, and I just loved education. But I didn't want to work 9 to 5, I've got to be honest. And so I went on the circle, come out, had a bit of a following, and then was in London, was thinking about even maybe moving to London, and then you know what hit. So it was my 30th birthday, I come out of the circle in October, it was my 30th birthday in the January, and then we all went into lockdown March, and I just met Connor as well. And so I was self-employed from October, and I was doing really well. I was getting lots of collaborations, it was great. And then lockdown hit and all of that stopped, and things become very dire. And having been in such a great position in my career of working for the public sector, working for the government, working in colleges, schools, I would have been furloughed and I would have been totally fine. But instead I was self-employed, and because I had only been self-employed for a short while, I couldn't get any support from the government, and all collabs basically stopped. So that was a really hard, challenging time. All the money that I had to use to maintain the things that I owed, to maintain a life. Luckily I moved back home, and it was a hard time. It was a hard time for everybody, but it was a hard time. And things started to recover as we started to move out of that. And then eventually, you know, things started to become back to normal. But when I was in Manchester, I worked part-time at Selfridges for 2 days a week. I didn't have any friends, I didn't know anybody, and I love Selfridges. And so I thought, let me get a job in Selfridges. It was only ever going to be Selfridges because I love Selfridges. And I met some amazing girls there. I only worked there, I think, for about 6 months max, but it was amazing. I actually miss working there. It's such a great place to work, and some of the friends that I've made from in there, I just really sincerely miss them so much. But yeah, then we moved back to Newcastle and I had my surgery, but within the space of the last 12 months I've been working on something behind the scenes with my business partner, and I have been working on that, and that's been a huge focus for me. And more recently in the last, I want to say 2 or 3 months, I've been helping my business partner out with some other projects. So I do that a few days a week. I work on my own project, which I'm hoping to share so soon, and have been for like 12 months, but now it's really coming to fruition. So I'm putting a lot of effort into that. Then I try and do my content creation, and it's busy. It's really busy, but here we are. And yeah, I'm happy. I want to be able to do it all and do it all well, because yeah, I just can't see myself being the girl that does 9 to 5. If you do, that's totally fine. I've been there. I did about 7-8 years of it. But for me, I like the freedom of being my own boss. And yeah, it's uncertain. It's very uncertain. You know, you don't get any holiday pay. You don't get any sick pay. So when I was offline, after having my surgery, I didn't have any money coming in because I wasn't doing any collaborations and I wasn't doing anything else. But it's just one of those things, you know, you have to take the good with the bad and understand that if you're willing to be, if you're putting yourself out there to be self-employed, then there is no holiday pay, there's no sick pay, there's no huge security, but the autonomy you have and the fact that you get out of this what you put in, unlike roles that I've had in the past where I've bust my balls and not had the gratitude that I would have hoped to have. Yeah, it's a good feeling. So I hope that answers that question. I do get that question a lot, but I don't know what's exciting for you to know about and what's not exciting for you to know about. But yeah, put it this way, is I'm a busy girl and I work hard. Okay, so that is the end of the video. That's all the questions that I'm going to answer today. I hope I answered your question. If I didn't, feel free to drop the questions that you have down below, or you can find me on Instagram, as you probably know, and you can send me a DM there. I do try and get through them, but sometimes it becomes a little bit overwhelming. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to subscribe and like and do your girl a solid, and I will see you again next time. Bye guys.